Gnocchi are one of the most problematic recipes in all of gastronomy. Even experienced cooks can have bad batches that they blame on the evil gnocchi gods because they can't figure out why they came out good one time but gummy, hard, and rubbery the next time, even though they followed the same recipe. I know I'm going to receive some negative feedback here from Italian purists by showing you this method, but try to keep an open mind. My method is not your Italian nonna's, but my gnocchi are perfectly soft and pillowy every single time. The evil gnocchi gods will never attack you again if you follow this method. We want to begin with pieces of potato that are about the same size. I'm suggesting that you use pieces that are all about 30 grams, 1 ounce. Now, as you cut them, you're going to get some larger and some smaller, just because of the shape of the potato. But I actually went through and weighed these. The smallest one here is 24 grams. The largest one's 34 grams. So they're right around the 30 gram range. I've also got 22 grams of salt and a sprig of thyme that's been tied together with a string to make it easier to retrieve later. The key here is to cook these potatoes to exactly the firm consistency, cooked but still firm. And this is going to vary a little bit with the type of potato you use. I have no way of giving you absolutely exact measurements. I can show you how I'm going to do it, but my potato is not going to be your potato. I have a pot here of water, 1.5 liters of water. There's the salt. I'm putting 400 grams of potatoes in it. This water is only just above room temperature right now. This is not heated yet. And the sprig of thyme, I'm going to cover it and begin heating it. But my stove is not your stove, and the amount of time it will take to heat will be slightly different. I know that on my stove, once I cover this and turn it on high heat, it will take 15 to 16 minutes before it's done. Okay, for me, it's been 8 minutes now, and it's come to a hard boil, so I'm going to turn the heat down to 5 on 1 to 10. So it was at 10, now it's at 5. I'm going to continue cooking it. Okay, I've removed the potatoes that are cooked and hot right now. I'm going to leave these to stand and cool for a couple of hours. Don't do anything else with them. I've got the water that's still got the thyme in it. I'm just going to cover this up and let it sit here. We're going to reuse this water. When we actually boil the gnocchi, we're going to use this water. We'll just pull the thyme sprig out of it then. Just leave it to steep with the thyme in it in the meantime. Now, potatoes have been cooling for a couple of hours. You need to test their texture. They should break apart, but they should have some firm resistance. If they're all mushy and just crumbling, then it won't work. They've got to, when you feel them, they've got to have some resistance. They've got to be cooked, but they've got to be not mushy. Now, I put these into the food mill. You can use a ricer on this. I prefer food mill. Now, weighed it out, there's 300 grams of potato there. I'm going to add the flour. Then the potato starch. Potato starch is kind of sticky stuff. You gotta tap it to get all that. And although the potatoes are nicely seasoned, the potato starch and flour aren't, so I'm going to add a little bit more salt, 1 whole egg, and we begin working this. The idea here is that you want to get everything put together, but you don't want to. You're not kneading it like you're making bread or pasta or something. If you start getting too crazy with the amount of mixing you do, you'll make it tough. So you want to bring the ingredients together and let it be. That's enough. In getting ready to cook the gnocchi, I'm going to strain off. Remove the thyme, strain off any loose bits so we don't have green flecks of watery thyme mixed into it, and then add another ½ liter of water to that. We're going to pull out a little bit of the dough, kind of form it into a ball first, and start rolling it as a log. And try to make it even. And take a knife and you cut your individual gnocchi like this. Scrap up. And to get that indentation, you take and you firmly press it with a fork like this, if you can see that. Then put it on a plate that's got some flour on it and accumulate them. Just repeat the process here. And once you have a few of them done, you can start cooking them off. They will float to the surface when they're ready. We're going to let them cook for about maybe 15-20 seconds after they float to the surface. That just makes sure that they're ready. And then we'll transfer them into another bowl here. And here we are, a minute or so later. They've floated to the top. Now we put them into a bowl here. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on this and toss them. This will keep them from sticking together, and then they can be cooled down and stored like this until we're ready to. And we end up with a bowl full of these gnocchi that have been glistening with oil now. I'm going to let them cool off a little bit, and I'm actually going to store them in the refrigerator. This is gnocchi the way I like them. They're very large and extremely non-traditional, but of course you can make them smaller like this. This exact same formula, just cut them smaller. Well, you can just eat these boiled straight away. I prefer them cooked in butter with a little sage and a little Parmesan. These, it's a very simple operation. Just fry them in a little butter, add some Parmesan, some sage. Start seeing some brown color in here. I'm going to add the sage. And here we have our gnocchi with a little brown butter and sage. Just grate some Parmesan over the top. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.